Howdy baddies, welcome to a tarot unboxing and review video. I've done an unboxing before, but I think this is the first review that I've done. But let's talk about the Dungeons & Dragons tarot deck. This is not a new deck, not at all. It's about 4 years old now, but it is still readily available. I found mine in my local board game and collectible card game shop. You can still find them on Amazon and other online retailers, so it's not like they're totally irrelevant. Now, this isn't the only tarot deck from D&D, and so this shouldn't be confused with the other tarot-themed deck called the Taroka deck. This is a real tarot deck based on the RWS deck, while the Taroka deck is intended to be used as a play material for one of the D&D campaigns set in Ravenloft. The Taroka deck looks cool. It's just very good looking and very vibes, and you could use it for divination. But the deck I'm talking about is closer to the RWS most of us are familiar with. It's almost one for one. If you get a chance to check out the Taroka and a Ravenloft campaign, you absolutely should. You will 100% dig the vibes of it. If you're someone who likes tarot, you would 100% dig the vibes of Ravenloft. Now, the D&D tarot comes with a thick box that folds out like a book. Inside is a very small 24-page booklet and 78 tarot cards. RWS standard. The booklet is very basic, and I wouldn't recommend this as a first deck or a learner's deck because of that, and because of how the minor arcana is handled. In the booklet, we have a very paltry 2 paragraphs on how to read, not enough, 1 summing up major arcana, not enough, 1 page describing the minor arcana and how it's different, a page on a spread for reading, and then a few pages on ideas on how to incorporate tarot into D&D gameplay. Not enough. Finally, the rest of the book is about a short 2-sentence explanation of each of the cards and an idea for using each one in a campaign. And the ideas are very small, very surface level. They lack the storyteller flair that a reader would actually have when reading the card. I think they could have done a little bit better on elaborating the story beats included for each of the cards. As you can see though, this is another tarot-themed product that's intended to be used as a gameplay tool for Dungeons & Dragons. This is, I think, the 3rd time Wizards has done something like this. I mentioned Taroka, then there's also the Deck of Many Things, and then this tarot deck. Since this deck is closest to the RWS tarot, it does work fine as a stand-in for that deck. If you want to use it to make a D&D campaign, you can totally do that too, and I think it's better at that. There isn't a shortage of resources on the net that can provide more detailed methods of doing so than this booklet does. This is something the D&D community has been doing for a while, and that's because of the Fool's Journey. In tarot, the major arcana represent the Fool, an adventurer going through multiple stages of life until he hits the final one, the World, which is enlightenment. As a collector's item, this deck is of course neat too, as you've likely seen some of the art already. You'll see from the very first card that these are playing card textured. Every deck I've used is either matte, satin, or glossy. Personally, I don't care for this texture, but just for creator reasons. This texture is highly reflective. It's not as bad as a glossy texture, but it's pretty reflective, so office lighting, ring lights, taking pictures, all of that is going to have light bouncing off the card, so you have to be really choosy with your lighting or the cards are going to look terrible. If you're someone who reads for a living, there are a few reasons to not use this deck, but the reflective texture is definitely up there. Aside from that, it's not a big issue outside of personal distaste. I like the art in this deck a lot, and I think the waffle texture just ruins the deck's appearance. The texture doesn't affect shuffling though, and it even feels amazing to shuffle. If you like overhand shuffling, it feels fantastic. You can feel the waffle textures rubbing together, and it's very tactile feeling in a way a matte deck just isn't. As for riffle shuffling, it's just fine. It's a normal size tarot deck, 70mm by 120mm, so small hands are going to struggle to do it, but if you can riffle shuffle, it does it the same as any other card does. It also mash shuffles pretty well, which is out of the ordinary for non-sleeved cards. Most non-sleeved cards don't mash shuffle very well, but this one does pretty okay. So the texture does have its advantages. I just also wouldn't recommend mash shuffling though, because you're going to tear up the edges of these cards, because I was starting to do damage to them just after a couple mash shuffles. But let's talk about the deck structure. A typical RWS deck has the major arcana, the Fool, all the way up to the World, and this one does too. Then you have the major arcana 1 through 10, or Ace through 10, Page, Knight, Queen, and King, in 4 different suits: Wands, Swords, Pentacles, and Cups. The D&D deck structure is similar, other than the minor arcana are broken into suits based off of stats in D&D. Wands are strength, intelligence is swords, wisdom is cups, and charisma is pentacles. The idea behind them are similar to their corresponding suit, but with different vibes and inspirations that don't 100% fit. But that's not really news, every deck reads different. Strength is like Wands in the sense that it's about passion, inner strength, and creativity, which doesn't match strength as a stat the best for me, at least in D&D. I would have had it been swords, since it's about conflict, but strength in this deck is also representative of physicality, which I also don't think it represents the best. Intelligence is about manifesting and shaping the world around you. I think more of cups when I do this, but I'd say like most of them manifest to some degree. Wisdom is internalized thought, which does fit with cups, and charisma is about how you as a person influence those around you with your speech, confidence, and eloquence, and using those to manipulate the material world around you. The latter fits with pentacles, but yeah, as you can see, none of these really match up one-to-one with the original 4 suits, which is why I don't recommend it as a learner's deck. While any interpretation is valid in your own personal deck, and it's fine to do that, if you intend to learn RWS, like, as it is, this might just confuse you or make learning them later a pain. But if you plan to do interpretive readings, this is a great deck. The art is beautiful and fantastical, the style is very fitting for Magic. It's like a fantasy storybook, and if you're a D&D fan, there are references to a lot of different characters, races, stories, and themes found in D&D. It's a fun deck just for its art, and it's highly expressive. It's equally full of whimsy and dark moodiness when it needs it, and the composition has this like sepia-like filter on it, giving a very aged look. If not for the waffle texture, this deck would look great once it starts to get banged up and show its age. Unfortunately, this yellow filtering also gives off AI piss filter vibes, and this deck doesn't use AI, but that piss filter definitely works for and against it. So who do I recommend it to? Fans of D&D and people who want to use it in tandem with their campaigns, or just for display. It's definitely not a good deck for people who make videos or do readings, as it likely won't get requested often by querents. The texture makes it look bad in photos, and it's not good for learners either. But I can definitely see it as being great for a shelf, collecting, and it would definitely be really cool for generating adventures. When you go to make a short adventure, just do a simple 3-card reading. The first card will be the hook or the inciting incident, the middle will be their challenges, and the final will be the boss or climax. You will, of course, need to be good at doing stuff on the fly, but you could also try generating a longer adventure using 5 or more cards. But you don't need a D&D tarot deck for this. Any tarot deck could do this. I will say though that this is good art, good presentation, and very well priced at just $25. It's not much more than a cheapo RWS would be. If you don't like D&D though, or you're not familiar with it, you may find reading it to be difficult as you'll miss the subtleties like specific characters and jokes, and you should probably get a deck more aligned with your personal interests. Thanks for watching, and stay batty.